What I want to say comes within the context of America today having the most unequal society with more wealth and income inequality than in any time since the 1920s. And I think in a general sense, this growing gap between the very, very wealthy and everybody else is of increased concern to the American people, and concentration of ownership, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Financial institutions made over $143 billion in profits in 2012, the most profitable year on record, with the exception of 2006. Today, the 10 largest banks in the United States are bigger than they were before we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. U.S. banks have become so large that the 6 largest financial institutions in this country have assets of over $9 trillion, a figure equal to about 2/3 of the gross domestic product of the United States of America. 6 financial institutions, assets equivalent to 2/3 of the GDP of the United States of America. These 6 financial institutions issue more than 2/3 of all credit cards, over half of all mortgages, control 95% of all derivatives held in financial institutions, and hold more than 40% of all bank deposits in the United States. While Wall Street has come roaring back, the middle class is disappearing, poverty has increased, and the gap between the very, very rich and everyone else keeps growing wider. From 2007 to 2010, as Wall Street was on the road to recovery, the average middle-class family lost 40% of its wealth, the equivalent of wiping out 18 years of savings. Median family income is lower today than it was in 1996.
A belief that these institutions are so large, and the senator pointed out to you just how large, that if they're about to go down, they can call the Treasury and say, you must bail us out, or we're taking the economy down with us.
People all over this country are in jail. In fact, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. How come not one of these major CEOs has ended up in jail? And that's a country that is on the minds of many, many people. And recently, as I think many of you know, the Attorney General, Eric Holder, made a truly remarkable statement on this issue. And I want to quote what the Attorney General said. And this is what he said. I want everyone to hear this because it is a deeply significant statement. This is what he said, quote, "I am concerned that the size of some of these institutions becomes so large that it does become difficult for us to prosecute them when we are hit with indications that if we do prosecute, if we do bring a criminal charge, it will have a negative impact on the national economy, perhaps even the world economy," end of quote. In other words, we have a situation now where Wall Street banks are not only too big to fail, they are too big to jail. Too big to jail. Because if we go after these CEOs, there will be so much dislocation, presumably so much instability, that it can have an impact on the national economy and even the world economy. Now, I thought that we were a nation of laws. And I thought that what the goal of our legal system was to say that if you break the law, no matter how big and powerful you may be, and especially if you commit crimes, which impact millions of people, you have a price to pay.